Hi, I've been gone for about 3 months. And oh, how the Lord has humbled me. And I would like to share just a brief series of things the Lord has done in my life since I was running around yelling at churches, preaching this and this and this. And I want to share with you what the Lord has shared with me in this 3-month period. Just a couple things. I had about tens of thousands of dollars in my account. That was when I was running on the ministry and I was getting donations. I was exalted to a pastor role, a leader role, all these things. I exalted myself in the ministry to an extreme extent. Financially, I was more stable than I ever had been. And over the period of time, after all the things that I had done, I got humbled beyond measures by the Lord. When Jesus said, "He who exalts himself shall be humbled," he was not kidding. I went from all of that to being homeless, living in my car, this was very recently, having 32 cents in my account, and being rejected by every single job, having doors shut on my face, people cutting me off, telling me that I was not allowed to go into their church or even fellowship with their congregation because of all the things that I had been doing. Time and time again, people rejecting me running out of money, me living in my car. And so I decided and I came to my senses and I returned home. Came back to my hometown. And I was scrounging for a job so I could make enough money to have somewhere to live. And I finally made enough money to have somewhere to live. Finally, $250. That's what I needed for the deposit. That's it. That's how low I was. And when I finally made the money, I was driving down the road and there was a rock the same day, a rock in the road, and I hit the rock and boom! My tire blew up, $65 gone. I cried out to the Lord and I said, "Lord, why? Why did this just happen? I have nothing. Why?" And this is I cannot be more serious. I opened up my Bible and in Romans chapter 9, this was the exact verse that my eyes laid upon after I asked the Lord that. And it says, "Why?" That's the very first word, why? Because they did not pursue it by faith, but as though it were by works. They stumbled over the stumbling stone. That's what I read after my tire blew up, after I'm crying out to the Lord, why? I don't understand. Because I was pursuing righteousness apart from faith, thinking that was going to save me. Righteousness. I have to be better. This is what I'm going to preach until I die. Rejecting God's grace, rejecting His mercy, and saying, I'm going to do this. I can do this. And it took me all the way into my car, sleeping in my car, scrounging together 32 cents, homeless. Everything I had, gone. Almost everyone I knew, gone. Everything. And here I am. Why? Because I was pursuing a gospel by righteousness and not faith. And then it says right here, but the righteousness based on faith speaks as follows. When we place our faith, just like the two people who prayed, you had the Pharisee who said, "Look at me, I fast twice a week, I pay tithes, I do this, I do that." And then you had the sinner whose face was to the ground. He said, "Lord, don't even look at me. I can't even look at you. Please forgive me. I'm a wicked sinner." Jesus said that man was the one who was justified. Not the religious person who said, "I do this, I do this, I do this, I do that." It was the one who had his face to the ground saying, "I'm a wicked sinner." That's the kind of faith that I have to have. That's the kind of faith that saves. And from that, as it says in chapter 10, verse 6, righteousness follows as a byproduct. It's not righteousness and then faith. It's faith and then righteousness is produced. That's why Jesus said, "Abide in me, I in you." He will prune us. He will cut off the strongholds. He will produce righteousness for His name's sake. That's why salvation is as simple as to know the Father in heaven. It's that simple, and for His reputation's sake, He prunes the sin out of our lives. I thought all this time, it's by this, I have to do this, I have to do that. But it's as simple as faith. Faith, where is it? Faith. That nails were driven into the hand of Jesus as He was on the cross, and He was hanging by these nails. And as they're saying, "Prophesy, King of the Jews, prophesy," mocking Him, killing Him, beating him senseless, and he's gushing blood. They're whipping him in the back, and he's hanging on there. They grab his feet and put his feet together like this, and then drive a nail through his feet, and he's hanging there. Think about that. Skin stretched out, probably ripping his hand in two, and they're mocking him, and on that cross he says, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." That's mercy. That's forgiveness. That's grace. That's the one who saves. That's the one who lived the perfect life. That's how I get to heaven. I place my faith in him. Not myself, not my righteousness, not my works. I can't do it lest I boast. I have nothing to boast of. All of my righteousness are filthy rags. So I place my faith in him who did it on the cross and said, "It is finished." That is the stumbling stone, and the byproduct is righteousness. And so that is what the Lord has revealed to me since I have been home. I apologize for my zeal to get this message off. It has been quite a process. And the Lord, Jesus is good. He is good, but he is our only salvation. And he'll produce his righteousness. He'll produce the good fruit. Not us. We can't do that. We have to change it in here before we can change it out here. I was going to get a car wash when I got back into town, and I heard an audible voice said, "Do not wash the outside of that car before the inside of that car is clean." So I did exactly that. I cleaned the inside of my car. I parked my car outside the house. An hour later, it rained, and it washed the car clean on the exterior. When we place our faith in the finished work of Jesus Christ, he will wash the exterior of the car. He will prune us, and we will mature in our faith, but it all starts with that faith in the finished work of Jesus Christ, crucified on that cross, buried, and rose on the third day, the Son of God. And that is where my faith lies from now on until the end of these days when he returns to come take his children. And I pray earnestly that we know the Father like Jesus knew the Father, and he was one. Salvation is to know the Father.